All right, hello and welcome F1 race fans. We are here. F1 Elite Aspect F1 25 preseason testing some more. This is the final session of our preseason test. We'll be doing the draft here at about an hour after this result here finishes. So probably a couple drivers joining in. We had a session earlier. I didn't get the numbers on that one. I do apologize for Spain as far as we're concerned, but we're just getting the final data, letting these drivers put some more laps in for this final day of preseason testing here before we begin the draft. The team principals select their drivers with their salaries that they can afford for this season. And it's a 155.407 on the hard tires for Joe Animator. Joe Animator here, who has set in some really good times across this week here in Spain. We did Bahrain preseason testing, 3 days, 2 rounds a day last week, and then this week we have brought ourselves to the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona here in Spain for this testing session. We saw 112, this is a little bit sub 112 yesterday in some of the fast laps. But with only the 4 drivers in here right now, we've got a couple drivers out on pits, so we'll give them some screen time. As we've got Coruscant in the Red Bull Young Lynx in the McLaren, Bluz in the RB V-Carb, and Joe Animator in the Ferrari as we're watching Coruscant go around on soft tires, who set, I think, a very medium to low 112 yesterday on the soft tires instead of 113.716. As this track will ramp up a little bit, it's nowhere near into where it's supposed to be as far as pace setting as fast laps go. So pretty much later in the day, but only 4 drivers in right now. We'll just keep an eye on these drivers going around. I'm pretty sure Joe will be putting in quite a few laps here on the hard, so probably just keep an eye on him. I'm going to save my voice and not have to talk too much since we only have the 4 drivers going around. We'll be able to see the times and everything. And if it goes into the pits, it'll switch to another driver. But we're working on a few things in the background here. Just getting some numbers ready for our draft coming up. So immediately following this session, we're all going to watch a real F1 qualifying, and then we'll have a live stream of the draft coming up as well. So I'm going to just pause my mic here for a little bit and send out some messages and figure out what we're doing to get everything prepared. We're there, we're ready, we're ready to go. We just need to tweak a couple things here. So we'll ride on board with Joe Animator YouTube here for just a little bit as he's cruising along in the far up through turn 9. Looks there. Yep. Making his way down to the revamp turn 10 before finishing out the lap 13, 14, those fast right-handers. All right, so continuing on here for Elite Aspect F125 preseason testing, final day. As we check out Buzz, Breathe Up Old Mediums, Florson's been out there for a long time on those soft compounds. Just doing some testing runs, it looks like. Joe's still out there on the hards. And Younglake's put in a lap, it looks like, on the mediums. I mean, on the hards as well, with a 1:14.802. Maybe setting up for a push lap here. I don't know, definitely slowed down quite a bit there. Maybe still just checking those tires out. Or turn 14 is really catching them out today, which is possible. Oh yeah, Florson's still on those soft tires, keeps going. We're still hanging on here in Elite Aspect F125 preseason testing here in Spain. Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, Barcelona. Final preseason testing session of the season before we get underway with the draft a little bit later on this evening. So not much to report so far. 13.695 done by Bluz, still out there on the mediums. 8 lap olds. Forson still pushing on those hard compound tires. And we've got Joan and Young Lights just putting in laps. Joan has done a 1:13.758 and put on the mediums. And I'm not sure if it's a glitch with me or why is everything weird. Oh, there we go. Hopefully didn't validate that one. We can get on the next one. Nope, doesn't look like it. So those are some old soft tires out there right now, running them as long as he can. Looks like to me. I think Jones on a push lap here. Young Lights tailing him, getting the slipstream behind. Only 3/10 up from its fastest. So yeah, we're just following along with Joe there on 6 lap old mediums now, doing consistent 114s, as it looks like we've got Bluz here on an outlap, on some soft, so plenty of time to go. Only halfway through the session here for Elite Aspect F125 preseason testing. This is week 3, session, day 3, no, yeah, week 3, day 3, session 2. So final run here as far as our preseason testing is concerned. Light lobby, may get a few people come in a little bit later, but for the meantime, I think this is where we're at. He was 2 tenths up on the first sector, which is really just turns 1, 2, and 3. So compounds of tires may have a little bit to do with that. As we're inside the halo cam. Make our way up to turn 9 on the soft compound tires. We'll see what the sector data says here as we finish the middle sector. Almost half a second, as that is the fastest middle sector so far today. On turn 13 and 14. Pretty good lap this. 113.267 on the softs. And again, I think the track is still fairly cool. As we see all the shadows coming across, it's the time of day it is. The sun's not beaming down on it, really warming it up. Let those tires really work in and be as quickest as we can. So. As we're still here with preseason testing, 20 minutes left to go here for week 3, day 3, session 2. As we see Animator there with a 112.279 as fast time of the day on the softs, and Bluz with a 112.859. So getting that time down too as well. Looking to see Florissant in the pits. We'll be putting on a fresh set of softs. That was Bluz. What are the pits on a hot lap still, or is this an in lap? Should be an in lap. And there's all the drivers in the pits at the moment, so we'll just relax and see where this goes. We may have a 4-way shootout for who's going to want to get the best time today. That is Florissant coming out first. Yeah, so winding down the session here. 12 minutes left. We're selling Young Lights into the pits. Looks like they weren't quite set up for their final fast runs. Now Bluzz is doing here as we make our way, finishing up the middle sector. One more turn, open the DRS, under the DHL box. And there's 3/10 back. So I'm assuming that 112.85 down. Yeah, I did up 5/10, so that's a 113.4 thereabouts. As Animator just made himself out of turn 3. Not a lot of energy to burn. Burnt a lot of that in the first sector. I didn't catch the time. That is a purple first sector. Alright, so 600s. Almost getting to the 112 ones. A good final sector so far. I just jinxed it with that roto wobble coming out of turn 12. 13, 14, keep the foot in. 112.259, just a touch faster by 200ths of a second. As, let's see, we've got Young Lights on an outlap. Looks like he'll start. There's Florissant on his lap. On the lap, only 7/10, so let's, sorry, 700ths of a second back from his fastest first sector at a 113 flat. I'm not too concerned about that. We'll see what happens coming up through here. 7 and 8 again. A little bit of a shimmy there. That's going to affect the second sector. Two-tenths, almost 3/10. So this could be in the 112s as well, if we get a nice final sector here together. Able to hang on to it there on the outside curb. Good line here. Oh, missed the apex just a touch, but able to keep the foot in. And this is a 112. 804 moves up to second. So took a little risk there in the final sector, and it paid off. Young Lights back in the pits. Animator back in the pits. Florissant on a cooldown. Is Bluzz going to do another push lap, or is this the end of a push lap? That was pretty tidy coming out of there. 112.993. So no improvement for themselves, and still half a tenth off of Florissant. Florissant and Bluzz both on cooldown laps. Animator and Young Lights in the pits. We'll be back with probably some soft lap, final lap, one shot shootout. All right, soft tires on. Let's see if these drivers got one or two quality sims left in them. Young Lights did a 112.646 while we were away. We're back in the pits. This Florson's on an outlap coming around turn 10 now. Other drivers into the pits. Really lighten up those rears. Hopefully it doesn't get too much traction coming out of turn 14 here. Upset the fast run too much. Up to 8. Making that final run down to turn 1. Picked up first sector. 1/10 up. It's into turn 5 nicely. A little late on the apex there for turn 7 up through 8. Stayed off the curb, keep the foot in. Good second sector 2, 2/10 up. Purples, faster than anyone. Oh, and the rear came out. Finish the lap, please. We'll come in. May have enough time. Man, that was a good lap on for her, that's for sure. Rose still in the pits. I believe Young Lights will be the first to start. Pressure's on. Screen time. Big turns 2 and 3. Keep the foot in. We're over 1/10 up through the first sector. Turn 5, 7 and 8 up the hill. There's shadows on the wall throwing me off. I thought there was a car over there in the wall. Keep that DRS open. 3/10. 3/10 up. Could just be a little 112. Make the third sector count. Looks like good so far. Downshifts. Keeps the foot in. That's a 112.421. Moves up to second. Very good lap there. Is Joe on a lap? It looks like it. His 500's up. So a blazing final sector here. We're also trying to keep an eye on Bluz to see if he can get across in time. Oh, 112.165. Couldn't best his final time. And we were out on board with Bluz here, unless Florson's on the lap as well. No, not going to make it. As we get out of sector 3, I'm sorry, out of turn 3, you see sector 1 flash, 21 and a half. He's 800s up so far. So if you can do that, a little bit of a miscommunication coming out of turn 4 there, down into turn 5. Little left-hander of 6 into 7 and 8. Came in almost with a really good line there. Maybe could have downshifted there. Not a good second sector, as far as the best is concerned. But things can change with a phenomenal third sector here if you get it right. Good traction out of 12. A little bit more curve on 13. I think it was the driver in front sent him off. And I think slowed down there at the end with a 1:13.352. So there you go. That's going to do it for Elite Aspect F1 preseason testing. This was the final day, the final session of the final day of the final week. So that's going to do it. Stay tuned in about an hour, hour and a half for our team principal driver draft, as these drivers will be given salaries and be drafted based on a cost cap. As you see the tires that they use there, and then their times again very, very low. Everybody in the 112. So we're shaping up for a very interesting season. These times reflect how good these drivers are. We look forward to seeing everybody in the draft here in just a little bit. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.